Right, so I'm here finishing up the seams on the empennage attachment to the wing. Just want to point out a couple things to you guys. As you're doing the seams on the outside on the top, make sure, and on the outside on the bottom actually, a little bit easier to see on the bottom, but make sure you don't put glue way up in here into the aileron, because then you'll glue the aileron to the side, and we need that aileron to be able to move. So just start above the aileron or past the aileron, both on the bottom here and on the top when you do those seams. Don't go up here, just start where the aileron is already free to move. I'm right around here or so, okay? Another thing I noticed on mine, when I was gluing on the bottom here, and I kind of running these big beads of glue all the way from here all the way down here and then wiping those off. I noticed that my foam board was a little bit warped or something, so this stinger piece, this pointy piece here, was not actually up flush with this vertical piece. So there was a gap basically between this piece and the vertical piece. It was kind of out to the side a little bit. So when I did that bead there, I kind of added a little bit extra, and then I held this piece together while it was cooling so that it would stay attached to this vertical piece here. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, check for any gaps in this interface here, or potentially if you had a piece like this and it was kind of warped up or something, so that it wasn't actually touching the wing surface very well. You want to fix that when you do the seams as well, so it's kind of all the way clamped down to the surface, a good contact area there so it doesn't come off in flight or anything like that. Again, this is another good view here. You don't want to glue anything where the aileron is at because that needs to be able to move. So just start here, start here and just glue this little segment here. Don't go all the way up here with the glue because that'll make your aileron get frozen basically with the glue. All right, so I'm going to do a couple these long runs up here on camera here. I'll kind of show you, and we'll be on to the next section. So I'm going to fold this in again. Try to get the glue gun all the way as far as I can. There, with a little bit on the edge that I don't need to cover, a 1/4 inch or so. Just run a glue bead all the way down to about there or so. Then we'll get our piece of scrap foam and wipe it all the way there. I try to wipe the glue when I'm wiping it like this, always towards the center of gravity, if that makes sense. So if I'm in the back of the plane, I'm wiping up towards the middle. If I'm in the front, I'm wiping towards the middle. Center of gravity is right about here. Those spots that are marked on the underside of the wing are the center of gravity. And just, it's probably fractions of a gram of difference that it makes, but that way if I have any excess glue, it kind of puddles closer to center of gravity, doesn't make the tail too heavy or the nose too heavy, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll do the other side now. It's a little bit harder to show you guys because I'm right-handed here and it's a little bit awkward to hold it on camera like that. Let's try that. Kind of missed that a little bit, sorry. There we go, not too bad. A little excess glue there. Looks okay. Looks decent there. So that's kind of drying. I went ahead and I cut out a 45 off of these. Let's see if we can get it. Cut a 45 off one side of these. So you can see I cut this part right here and I shaved that down with the razor blade. Again, you can razor blade it, you can crush it with a pen or something, or you can sand it even if you want to. And these pieces are both ready to go onto the leading edge of the wing. Okay. So what we'll do is have the 45-degree, so I got glue, spider webs on my hand here, 45-degree piece, and I'll go, let's see if I can show this to you, almost just too tall to fit on the under the camera all the way. Let's see here. Focus, focus. Maybe I'll try to draw it real quick. I just want to make sure I put the 45-degree setup there in the right direction. So if I have, let's try drawing this so you can see what I'm talking about. Zoom. There we go. Okay, so if we have our wing, okay, so here's the front of the plane up here, right? Here's our little pod thing and stuff. Here's the wing right here, okay? And so the wing shape itself, we want to have the main wing sits there and looks kind of like this. Again, this is the front of the plane up here. This is the main wing shape, right? Just a square. And we just took these pieces and we cut the bevel, or made the bevel there at 45 degree. We want that piece to go on top with the bevel like this. Okay, so the bevel should be facing kind of towards the back of the plane, I guess you could say. So don't put it upside down or anything. It should end up like with the wing like this. This is the main wing here. That's the big wing piece. And these are the extra pieces we're putting on top, like this piece here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It's hard to show it on the camera because it can't get it to focus very well, unfortunately. Zoom back out here. There we go. All right, so with these two pieces, we're just going to put a light kind of squiggle of glue down the side, stick it on there, okay, and make sure that we line it up. Again, the 45 degree is facing up, okay, so it looks like a wing shape more. And when we do this, we want to make sure we line it up correctly. There's not any markings. You just need to push it as far as you can towards the fuselage pod here, so it's nice and flush that way. Okay, line up the rest of it so it's not sticking out like this or something like that. Okay, line it up with the existing wing there. And it will hang off the end a little bit. I don't know why the design has that in there. We can trim that off later so it's flush. But just make sure this leading edge is lined up so it's not shifted. I mean, that's exaggerated, right? But try to get that lined up there so it's nice and flush all the way across. Later on, you can add some glue to the leading edge to make it smoother, or even put a piece of tape over there, and it'll be easier if everything's lined up. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do those real quick. So we'll just take a piece here, make sure we get the glue on the right side of it, the side that's supposed to go down on the wing. I'm just going to run some glue just along here. Don't need a lot, especially with a piece this big. It's not like it needs a ton of glue, but we want to get good coverage on all the corners and stuff, and make sure it's going to stick well. So we'll do that. We'll stick it on there, and you got a few seconds to kind of place it and then line it up before it really starts to tack down hard. I want to make sure we get that lined up really well. Okay, it looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I'm just getting that lined up so we don't see any overhang or anything like that. And we're gluing this on the top of the wing too. You can see here's the bottom. So we're gluing these on the top of the wing, not the bottom. Okay, and you kind of press down on it, maybe a little bit of clamping there to kind of get the glue to squeeze out and hopefully spread out really well for that wing. Okay, we'll just do the other side real quick as well. Go. Stick that on there like so. Let me go ahead and line that up. So I'm kind of pushing towards the center with my hand on this side. And I slide it that way while I line it up with my other hand to get the leading edge here be lined up. I'm going to kind of clamp it down so we make sure we're getting that good pressure. And hopefully that'll work out well for you and you'll get a nice reinforcement there to the wing somewhat. Yeah. And again, you can kind of tape over this or glue on the leading edge a little bit. I'll show you guys at the end here, kind of the finishing touches on the whole plane. If you want to do some of those things, you can. They can make it more durable and last longer too as well, so the paper doesn't start peeling off and stuff like that on the wings. Okay, awesome. So there we go. Besides these little hatch pieces that go on the top here, we're going to wait on those anyways. We're pretty much done with the physical foam structure of the plane. And so that wraps up this portion. Next, we're going to be adding our electronics in, okay, our motor mount, some servo control horns and things like that, getting that set up in the next few videos. And then we'll finish it up here in the end of the series.